If your house feels like a furnace by mid-afternoon, if the upstairs turns savage, if your AC runs 4 hours and still leaves the air heavy and sticky, you may not have a cooling problem at all. You may have a roof problem. And that's the part nobody tells you. Because long before people financed $5,000 air conditioning systems and called it normal, there were families cooling their homes with a bag of powder that costs less than lunch. Here's the contradiction that stopped me cold. Most people try to cool the room after it's already overheating. They attack the symptom. But the real fight starts above your head. Your roof sits in direct sun for hours, soaking up heat like a skillet on a burner, and then it bleeds that heat downward into your attic, your ceilings, your walls, and finally your body. So while people keep blaming their insulation, their thermostat, their electric company, or the weather, the house is being roasted from the top down. And 200 years ago, people with no grid, no compressors, and no monthly cooling bill understood that better than we do now. I started digging into this when I noticed something strange on old farm properties. Some of the hottest days of the year, the heat inside certain older outbuildings felt softer, less violent. The roof wasn't radiating that punishing afternoon burn you feel in modern homes. And the deeper I looked into traditional rural building methods, especially among old plain communities and older farm country practices, the same principle kept showing up in different forms. Not expensive technology, not some miracle gadget, just a brutally simple idea. Stop the sun at the surface. The method is almost insultingly simple. You take a bright mineral coating, traditionally lime-based, and you turn a heat-absorbing roof into a heat-reflecting one. That's it. That's the hidden system. A white or pale reflective layer on the roof surface sends a huge portion of that solar punishment right back where it came from, before it can load your attic with heat. In older settings, that often meant lime wash, hydrated lime water, sometimes a few simple binders, depending on the surface. Cheap materials, basic tools, serious effect. And this is the part that sounds unbelievable until you understand the physics. Your roof doesn't make the house miserable because it's above you. It makes the house miserable because it gets hot first. Dark roofing loves sunlight. It absorbs it, stores it, and then releases it for hours. That's why the house still feels angry even after sunset. But when the roof surface is made highly reflective, it stays dramatically cooler. Not a little cooler, sometimes shockingly cooler. And that means less radiant heat pouring into the attic, less heat soaking through the ceiling, less work for the AC, and less of that dead, suffocating second-floor heat that makes people sleep badly and wake up furious. So why have most people never heard this explained in plain English? Because there isn't much money in teaching you how to prevent heat before it enters the house. There's a lot more money in helping you fight the heat after it's already inside. Big AC units, more ductwork, higher utility bills, more upgrades, more dependence. Meanwhile, old low-tech methods get dismissed as primitive because they're simple. But simple does not mean weak. Simple often means nobody can package it, patent it, and sell it back to you with a financing plan. Now, before anyone gets carried away, let me make this practical. This old-school lime approach is not for every roof. If you've got a metal roof, a tin roof, a shed roof, a coop roof, an outbuilding, a porch roof, or certain masonry surfaces, this method can be absurdly cheap to test. If you have asphalt shingles, you need to slow down. Shingles are a different animal. On those, the principle is still right, but the product needs to be compatible with the roof system. In other words, the ancient fix is the principle. Reflectivity is the weapon. Lime is the old budget version for the right surface. And that right there is the first reveal most people miss. The secret is not magic Amish chemistry. It's thermal control. Old communities just respected the sun more than we do. They built around it, worked around it, and when they had to, they coated surfaces to stop heat at the source. That's the part modern life forgot. We've normalized paying every month to battle heat that never should have entered the house in the first place. If you want to try the low-cost version on a suitable surface, here's the basic system. First, inspect the roof honestly. If it's failing, flaking apart, leaking, or covered in materials that shouldn't be lime-coated, stop there. This is not a magic fix for a bad roof, but if the surface is appropriate, stable, and you're working on something like metal or a simple outbuilding roof, Start by cleaning it well. Dust, oil, loose debris, and chalky residue will sabotage the bond. The surface doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be clean enough that the coating actually contacts the roof instead of the dirt. Then mix the coating. Traditional lime wash is usually nothing fancy. Hydrated lime and water until it becomes a thin, milky slurry. Some people add a little salt or a natural binder, depending on the application. But the point is not to turn this into a laboratory experiment. The point is to create a breathable, bright coating that dries pale and reflective. And this is where I need to say the unglamorous part. Lime is alkaline. It can irritate skin, eyes, lungs. Gloves, eye protection, and common sense are not optional. Forgotten knowledge is still chemistry. Next comes the application, and this is where people ruin it by getting impatient. Don't slap on one thick, sloppy layer and call it good. Use thin coats. Let them dry. Build the finish gradually. You're not painting a mural. You're creating a sacrificial reflective shell. On the right surface, it dries into that chalky, bright finish that old Barnes's walls and utility structures used for generations. It won't look like glossy modern paint. It'll look old world, matte, and practical, which is exactly the point. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Once that roof stops absorbing so much solar heat, other small improvements suddenly start working better. Your attic ventilation matters more. Your night cooling matters more. Your ceiling insulation performs better because it's dealing with less punishment. In other words, the roof is the first domino. Cool that surface down, and the entire system below it becomes less desperate. That's why people who make one smart change at the top often feel the result everywhere else. I've seen people throw money at window films, portable units, blackout curtains, duct cleaning smart thermostats, and still wonder why the bedroom feels like a parked car at 6 p.m. Then they address the roof, and suddenly the house stops acting possessed. Not frozen, not magically air-conditioned, just sane. And sane is powerful. Sane means the upstairs is usable. Sane means the AC cycles instead of screaming. Sane means the house docente filakita storing sunlight for revenge. And there's a deeper reason this matters now. Grid failures happen. Heat waves get longer. Utility prices climb like they're being chased. If your only cooling strategy depends on uninterrupted power and expensive machinery, then your comfort is rented. The old way wasn't just about saving money. It was about not being cornered. A cooler roof gives you margin. Margin when the power flickers. Margin when the bill spikes. Margin when the equipment fails on the worst day of the year, which is exactly when it loves to fail. Now for the part nobody likes hearing. This won't save a badly designed house by itself. If your attic is unvented, your insulation is your air leaks are outrageous, and your roof surface is inappropriate for lime, then no $7 trick is going to rescue you. But that doesn't make the method weak. It makes it honest. Old systems work best when you understand what they are actually doing. This one is not cooling the air. It is preventing solar gain. That distinction changes everything, and maybe that's the most important lesson buried inside all this. The people we call old-fashioned were often just closer to cause and effect. They knew that if the roof stayed cooler, the rooms stayed livable. They knew that white reflected, shade mattered, airflow mattered, and timing mattered. They didn't have the luxury of ignoring physics and paying a machine to overpower it later. So they adapted, quietly, cheaply, effectively. That's why I keep coming back to this. Because it isn't just a roof trick. It's a worldview. Don't fight the problem at the end if you can stop it at the beginning. Don't pay forever for what a simple system can reduce up front. And don't assume modern equals smarter just because it's more expensive. Your roof may be the hottest, most aggressive machine in your house. The old fix was to make it surrender to the sun instead of feeding on it. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. If you want more hidden systems like this, the kind that make a home cheaper, tougher, and less dependent, subscribe. And tell me in the comments which part of your house is quietly costing you the most.